live in a world ruled by tyranny, where knowledge is suppressed and ignorance is glorified. A world of truth, a network of courage, a network of awareness. Peace and greetings. You are now tuned into the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, where we examine current events, politics, health, finance, and topics of cultural relevance in America and throughout the world, while bringing you insightful interviews with guests that will both educate and inspire you. And now, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, ORRA the Informationalist.
Yes, peace and greetings to all the peoples around the world tuning in to this live broadcast of the Network of Awareness podcast radio show. I'm your host, ORRA the Informationalist. I want to say peace and blessings to all the Network of Awareness from around the world tuning in and supporting this network. I want to give a shout out to all the brothers and sisters pursuing righteousness, doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. I want to give a shout out to all the people that support me on all my social media handles like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, especially on TikTok, man. Shout outs to all my TikTok followers. I think y'all show the most support more than anybody else on any of my social media platforms. So I really want to give a shout out to everybody that follows me on TikTok, as well as the people that have now been subscribing to Rumble. If you haven't subscribed to my channel on Rumble, it's free for now. Subscribe to it. Go to rumble.com, go to Network of Awareness, or you can go to the Network of Awareness channel, because that's the name of the channel, but it's under Network of Awareness. And definitely subscribe, because a lot of things that I'm going to be bringing out for season 6 and beyond that typically gets censored and shadow banned on platforms like YouTube and Facebook, especially for YouTube and Facebook. Either YouTube takes it down, Facebook shadow bans it, and the rest is history. And of course, Twitter is starting to shadow ban and put these markers on content. But if you really want to get authentic stuff that's video podcast on my podcast, go to Rumble. But of course, if you want a live episode like you're getting now, you can follow me on Spreaker. Follow the Network of Awareness on Spreaker.com. And then, of course, we distribute this podcast to all other podcasts once the lives are done. Of course, if it's a pre-recorded, you don't have to worry, because then everybody gets it at the same time. But if you want to listen live, go to Spreaker.com. Today's episode is Season 6, which is The Light is Within You and All Around You. And today, episode 12 is Persuaded Perceptions. And I'm going to have to put this as part 1. And the reason being is because our perceptions of reality are constantly getting manipulated and persuaded by others. And sometimes those others are institutions and many belief systems and many other things in regards to that. So in this installment of Persuaded Persuasions of this is an installment of the Truth Seeker series, by the way. And I'm going to talk about how modern society is heavily influenced by religious doctrines, governments, media, television, Hollywood, and people we admire. These sources of influence can persuade and manipulate our perceptions in a variety of ways on a range of topics. Governments can use their power to control what information is available to the public and can shape public opinion in their favor. Media, television, and Hollywood could be used to spread messages that are beneficial to those in power or to promote certain ideologies. And religious doctrines often provide a moral framework for society and can heavily influence people's views on a range of topics. People we admire, such as celebrities, can also play a role in influencing our perceptions, as well as everyday people that we encounter and deal with in our everyday life. We may be more willing to accept their views on certain topics or to purchase products they endorse. Overall, modern society is exposed to a variety of sources of influence that could shape our perceptions in subtle ways. It is important to be aware of this influence and to evaluate information critically in order to form our own opinions. It is ultimately important that we as individuals form our own perceptions of reality to gain a better awareness of our experiences. Welcome to the Network of Awareness, brothers and sisters. Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
So welcome to this early morning live broadcast. I didn't get to do a live broadcast yesterday, so I figure I'd make up with this early morning like we used to do. We used to do early mornings all the time for the people that are driving to work, getting up, getting their cup of coffee and all those good things that they do to get their day started, breaking their fast and having breakfast. And I hope that, you get to enjoy this early morning session of Persuaded Perceptions. Now, we will be doing a show later today as well. We're going to be doing a video podcast. Most likely it will go on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'll go live at 7 p.m. and as well as here on Spreaker at the same time. But for now, this is a makeup episode that I wanted to do yesterday that I didn't have time to do yesterday. Yesterday, I got a lot of rest. For some reason, last night I was extremely tired. So I went to bed a little bit earlier than normal and got a very, very good amount of rest that was much needed from staying up late for most of last week into the end of last week when I went on my little mini vacation to Daytona Beach. But now that I'm back, fully rested, I'm very much looking forward to providing some information this morning on October 20th on a nice little Friday, as the sun is probably coming up for some of you, and for some of you, it's already out here. We're broadcasting out of the Sunshine State of Florida from St. Petersburg, and happy to be here to give you this information. I think it's very important that we understand how our perceptions are being manipulated and persuaded by others or by other groups. And this is important to understand because you have to really understand why it is that you believe in what you believe in the first place. What validates that for you? What experiences have you had to validate how you perceive life as a whole and the things that you hold near and dear to be true to you? So let's look up perception according to the Dictionary of Oxford. It says the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses, right? We have our five senses. We have the sense of touch, taste, smell, sight. Touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. Now, the state of being or process of becoming aware of something through the senses. It also says, I like this one the best in order to describe perception. It says a way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something, a mental impression. So I ask you people, who and what is having a mental impression on you? And what have they impressed upon your mentals that has now become a perception of your reality? Ask yourself that question. Write it down. And I think you'll be far amazed if you're truly honest with yourself on what that is. See, perception is the organization, identification, and interpretation of sensory information in order to represent and understand the presented information or environment. All perception involves signals that go through the nervous system, which in turn result from physical or chemical stimulation of the sensory system. Now, let's give a more simple definition. It is the act or faculty of apprehending by means of the senses or the mind, cognition, understanding, the immediate or intuitive recognition or appreciation as of a moral psychology or aesthetic qualities, insight, intuition, and discernment. Now, there's a picture I'm looking at here. Now, because this is not a video podcast, obviously I can't show you, but I'm going to describe it to you in full detail. It is a cartoon picture, and it shows the number 6 laying on the floor. And the number 6 that's laying on the floor has 2 people standing side by side from the right to the left. Now, the person on the left that sees this number, they see it as the number 6 because that's how they perceive it. But the person on the right, because it is the number 6 turned upside down, it's no longer the number 6. It's now the number 9. So the person on the right sees it as number 9, and the person on the left sees it as number 6. Now, this is the big problem here in this world, is this right here. I think this diagram, which I'll probably make this diagram to the second part of this series or episode on the Persuaded Perceptions, because this is part 1, so this would be part 2. This is one of the major issues with the world. This is what really creates division. This is what the powers that shouldn't be that are really manipulate in order to keep us divided as a human species, divided through humanity throughout the world, is that we can perceive one thing as something else and the other person perceives it. And most of the time, if not all the time, most people in the world will always disagree and won't agree to disagree. It's very rare that you find people to agree to disagree. When you believe and see things in a certain way and you don't see it their way, they're going to look at you like you're wrong. Even if you appreciate and respect the way they see it and can respect that by agreeing to disagree, most of the time they won't, because most people think that they're right. And like I described earlier in the description that I had wrote up, is that this happens in many different ways. I'm seeing it a lot now more than ever through religion. Matter of fact, there's this whole thing going on with this preemptive prologue to World War III with this Hamas versus Israel. And there's people that are supporting the Hamas or the people of Palestine and are supporting Islam and all of that. And then there's people that are supporting Judaism and supporting people in Israel. And it's basically a cluster bomb for more division. And it's working perfectly. And the problem is people don't realize this. You know, I shared, I put a comment in a post with somebody that was, that considers themselves to be considered a Hebrew Israelite on social media. And they were sharing, the things that were happening in Israel with racism and everything, not realizing by them sharing that they're still promoting division. They're doing the work from the people that instituted that illness and sickness and lie in the first place. And that's what's happening more and more. Many people have talked about this in the past, 20, 30 years ago that I've studied under, that talked about how the governments of the world don't have to do much these days, but just plant the seed and the people will take care of the rest. And that's what you're seeing now more than ever, is people taking care of the rest. So when you see a lot of this stuff promoted on social media, is to promote that division, so that when you perceive that racism or whatever on the camera, it does something to you. It does something to you where it can trigger, and you start seeing and perceiving the world a certain way, not realizing that that's what they want you to do. And the people that also don't realize is the people that are sharing this on social media, their perceptions is stuck on division because they're promoting it and making it seem like the world is against them. They can promote it like that based on their perceptions of their skin complexion, based on their perceptions of their intellect, based on the perceptions of their physical appearances, and many, many more. And I'm seeing this more and more, and I'm not trying to get caught up in it because I perceive my reality as I choose to. I experience my reality as I choose to, based on the things that I experience, not based on the things that I am told. I'm going to say that again. I base my reality and perceive my reality on the things that I experience and how my spirit absorbs and consumes it, not based on what people tell me. Because a lot of times what people will tell you is based on a perception that they believe. And most of the time people are believing in a long legacy of lies. lies that have been given to them for sometimes hundreds, if not thousands of years. And their perceptions of that is completely skewed. And that is a big problem here in the United Shenanigans of America. Matter of fact, a lot of people perceive that this country is the best country in the world, yet they've never been to any other country in the world. How's that possible? Because they've been told. They've been told that the red, white, and blue is true, and that the freedom that you have here is like no other any other place around the world. But freedom is a perception, because some people think they're free and they are completely imprisoned mentally. Other people are imprisoned physically, but are mentally free. How does that work out? How is it that a person that's in jail is mentally free to think and formulate ideas while stuck in that small box with no windows, but yet the person that gets to frolic in the autumn mist in the land of Hollandly and all over the world, gets to go many places, can be imprisoned in the mind based on their perceptions of the reality that they think they're living, or think that they have, or think that they know. A lot of people are seeking knowledge, but they seek knowledge in the wrong way. So a lot of times, and I've had this conversation with several different people just in the past year, I gave counsel to a young brother and talking to him about the way he puts music together and how he perceives it, and how it's been limited because he's not stretching himself to seek other knowledge. He's not really studying himself or life as a whole and studying everything that is meaningful to him. And what does that do? That keeps his music limited, and also not taking it seriously or practicing. So when I gave that counsel, that counsel was not really well received because it went in one ear and out the other. Why do I know this? Because it wasn't acted out on or anything. Now, maybe it went one ear and out the other, not because the person didn't choose, because they perceive their reality as something different. They perceive their pursuit as something different. And a lot of times people are so heavily manipulated to believe certain things that you can even show them right in front of their face what is and what isn't to what they thought was, and they still won't believe. They still won't understand, because the perception of their reality has already been deep rooted in a belief that they think they know. And the ego will fight to the very death to defend itself. That's what you're seeing right now with this preemptive move towards World War III, with the whole division and strife between Palestinians and Jews in Jerusalem. It is so much sparked outrage that is starting to spread all over the world perfectly. The powers that be know this. They play with our perceptions every day. They plant seeds to play with these perceptions so that we stay divided, especially when it comes to religion. When it comes to religion, people, everybody thinks that they have the right answer. Everybody. And see, that's one thing that I started to veer off into. I started to veer off into self-righteous indignation. Into self-righteous indignation. I also started to veer off into believing what other people believe without really getting an understanding of that for myself. And I had to stop doing that, because the reality is that when you believe in something, you really have to experience it in order for it to be true. It can't just be something that you read or that somebody told you. It has to be fully experienced, because that's the only way you're going to know if what you're perceiving to be true is. And a lot of times you can also believe what you're perceiving to be true if you see somebody else experience it. It's like fire. If somebody tells me that fire can burn me, I have two ways of perceiving that I can prove to that to be true. I can see somebody else putting their hand in fire and reacting to it like, and then, looking at them like, oh, that burned that brother or that sister. Or I could put my hand in the fire myself and know that it burns, right? So it's through the experience of others and to myself. But if I was never there to see the person burn their hand, how do I know that I can get burned by putting my hand in fire? If I didn't do it myself, how am I going to know? And a lot of times people believe in things that are told without experiencing it, without seeing it for themselves, without being there, and they just take it as face value that it is the truth, and that's it. That's all they need. I've seen plenty of people that follow others. It's very cultic-like, and I'm going to do a whole series on cult-like behavior, because more and more as a society, we're becoming more cultic-like, more than we've ever have before in believing in certain things. And I've seen it where people will venerate others, and those people will say the most craziest things that make no sense whatsoever. But yet people will gravitate to it without questioning it, without even doing any research on it, without even trying to experience it for themselves, and completely believe it as true, to where somebody else will tell them, hey, that's not right. Like, let me show. And they're like, nope, it is. I've seen plenty of situations like that, especially when it comes to religion. Especially, I think religion is probably the worst of them all when it comes to people's perception of what is true and what is not. And at the end of the day, we have to be responsible in perceiving our own reality in the way we were intended to do so in the first place. We cannot allow ourselves to get distracted by perceptions of others. Because at the end of the day, when you are born here, you are born alone by yourself. Okay. You're coming out the womb by yourself, and you're going into the ground or being burnt up, or however somebody chooses to pass away once their spirit leaves the body, whether they choose to burn it or bury it, you're alone. And you go back into the essence by yourself to something else. And it's our responsibility to perceive our reality by ourselves based on the experiences we have. And if our perceptions are different from each other person we encounter, we should have enough respect for others to agree to disagree. Just because I perceive something that you don't perceive doesn't mean that I necessarily have to be wrong or right to you. But I think that most of the time people won't respect what other people's beliefs. They automatically judge them. They judge them in a way that they're saying, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. Oh, you're going the wrong route by believing this and by believing that. But don't have any real evidence to prove that. None whatsoever. And they could talk up a storm all day, but it's going to be based on their opinion. It's going to be based on their perception. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true. See, the only true experience is the one that we do live, the life we do live and what we experience, to know what is true and what's not true. There's no other way to go about it, period. Sometimes with relationships too, people may perceive someone to be nice and kind and gracious. And when people are getting to know each other, sometimes that doesn't mean that that person is meant to be with you in a romantic relationship. Sometimes that means that that person was just there in your life to help you for a season. Sometimes it means that that person is just meant to be a friend. Sometimes not even a good friend, just somebody that you know that you can get some information from or appreciate what they have to offer in their personality, and that's it. A lot of times people in this world, just because they find somebody that's nice and kind, they automatically think that they should be with that person. And then they wind up getting together only to know that they didn't really want to be together, or they didn't really want to be with their person. They just perceived that person's kindness and thought that that's all that they needed in order to be with them. And that's not all that it takes, right? Obviously, which we've talked about many times on this podcast. But because perceptions can be manipulated, people can make very hasty decisions on what is true to them and what they need in their life and all of these things. And you have to be very careful with that, because a lot of times many people could be so traumatized by past events that anything that looks somewhat, even an inkling of opposite of what they experienced in their past, they automatically perceive it as something good, which doesn't necessarily mean that it is. It's just something different from what they've known, but they have to experience it to know what it is. And if that's something that truly will help them and make them feel good about where they're at in their life, instead of bringing them down into lower vibrations. If something's going to bring you into a higher vibration by you experiencing it, then it's got to be good, because you had a chance to experience it. But just looking at it from the outside, it's not going to make it. It's not going to cut it, so to speak. These are the things that we need to be aware of. I could tell you that I have so much more to learn at 45 years old, but I can tell you that I've learned a lot up until this point. And this is one of the main things that I've learned, is that how are my perceptions of reality been persuaded or manipulated by others? And why is it that I believe in the things that I believe in? And one conclusion that I came to is that I truly believe that there is a creator, but how I go about believing that is constantly evolving and And the more I get to understand that, and for that belief system to strengthen and grow and to constantly evolve, is by getting to understand everything about who I am and how I came to be and what I'm capable of in a universe of infinite possibility. And then a lot of times, especially with people that are in cults, you have to break all the perceptions that you found to be true in your life from there on out and start to fill it up with new perceptions that you had an opportunity to gain based on your experiences. And what is it that you were searching for? And what is it that's pleasing to the spirit? What is it that fills the spirit with positive vibrations instead of negative ones? And a lot of times, certain people will perceive and they will be perceiving they will perceive their reality as negative and enjoy it and like it. There's people that like low level energy, and that's how they perceive and that's perfectly fine. That's where they are. That's why I used to always say, and I've heard other people say this, that I prefer the racism that's in the South in the United States because it's pretty much in your face. So many people say, at least I know where that person's coming. They're being honest with me, opposed, and I've experienced this as well. That's why I'm talking about it. Opposed to the racism that you experience in the northern parts of America, where the racism is not necessarily deliberately in your face all the time or at all. The racism that you experience is subliminal. It's behind the scenes. It's behind your back. It's the racism that you don't even know you're really experiencing until it all comes crashing down with a particular situation or event. And then you start connecting the dots and being like, oh, that's where that came from. But it hits you from like left field and you don't even see it coming. Opposed to the racism that's in the South, it's more directly in your face. You can't see it coming. It's right there. It's letting you know. That's a perfect example of what goes on when it comes to people's perceptions of their reality and of the realities of the world. Now, the powers that shouldn't be but are constantly manipulating our perceptions, right? You got Hollywood. Right now, Hollywood is putting the perception out there, persuading or manipulating the perceptions of the youth to believe that being gender fluid is a real thing. They're making people believe that it's okay to have a craving or a sexual desire for children. Hollywood is also promoting that relationships and sex is like nothing. It's just like, hey, it's a physical act. It has no other significance but that. Do it as much as you want for whoever you want, but not giving you all the detailed information of what that does to a person, what type of energy that person is exchanging with other people when they're sexually active with each other. It's all spiritual, but Hollywood and your TV media puts out the perception that it's not. And that's why you have so many people reckless in their sexual behavior, completely reckless. You got people transmitting sexual diseases, right? Sexually transmitted diseases and many other things based on a low level of perception of reality when it comes to sex. Why? Because they were persuaded to believe in those things. And then they suffer the consequences. One of the reasons why I'm even doing this episode is that so we can stop suffering the consequences of having our perceptions manipulated and persuaded by others. Because at the end of the day, if you keep living your life that way, you will always be unfulfilled. And especially when it comes to certain doctrines, you will always look at yourself less than what you should be. You will always look at yourself like, damn, I'm wrong. I'm wicked. I'm this and that. And it never gives you an opportunity to live a quality of life, of benevolence, of joy, of peace of mind, because you're in constant conflict with yourself based on other people's perception. And it happens so quick, people. It happens so quick because a lot of times, like I mentioned about the celebrities, but just everyday people, there are people that follow others and anything that person says, they take it at 100% truth. There are people that are constantly being persuaded by others in the worst ways possible. And that's why you have to ask yourself, can I make my own decisions? Can I perceive my reality as I am meant to and not allow anybody else to distract me or to change my perspective on what it is that I do believe. Now, granted, there are times where people may perceive something between another person that's not true, and that they have to, spend time with that person to know that whatever they were perceiving wasn't true and be educated on that. But most of the time, people don't even take the time to do that. They're just going to go off an emotional response, most of the time an irrational emotional response, and never get the true meaning of what they're actually perceiving. They perceive the lie to be true. But moreover, I've seen where people are so heavily persuaded by other people's perceptions that they can't even really make a decision for themselves. They can put things together and look for other people to see if they agree with it, if they like it. And if the person doesn't, then they feel like they have to change, or sometimes they don't put out that body of work or whatever it may be. And then they try to accommodate others. And that's something that we shouldn't be doing as a whole. We shouldn't be always trying to accommodate people based on their perceptions. We have to be true to ourselves. And sometimes let me tell you people, I'm going to say this again. If something don't sit well with your spirit, it probably isn't real. It probably isn't true. It probably is just something that somebody else wants you to believe in, period. Now, there's the other side, right? You've heard me say plenty of times, the truth hurts. So sometimes, especially with the narcissist, they may perceive their reality as true, but yet they're like a dark cloud. And if you try to explain to them, hey, your energy and the things you're doing is affecting people this way, let's try to stop it and do things a different way, they're not going to listen to you because it comes from a deep sense of insecurity based on their perceptions. Based on their perceptions, most of the time that have been persuaded and manipulated through childhood, based on abandonment, right, that they received. They perceive their reality a certain way. So it can go a lot of different directions. But at the end of the day, our perceptions are a responsibility of our own. And we have to take it seriously because our perceptions are being bombarded through persuasion and manipulation every single day. That's why it's important to meditate, because if you meditate, you clear your mind of all distraction. You clear your mind of all those different perceptions you have of your reality, whether they were manipulated or persuaded or not. And you just clear all of that out. And you allow the creator of all that is to fill you up with peace of mind, with understanding for yourself, and with a better sense of a positive direction on where to move from there. Because you cleared out all the noise. You cleared out all the white noise. And now you truly get to hear the voice of what some people would call God, Allah, the creator, the true master of the universe, the invisible God, the one that cannot be seen, the God that is within you that can only be felt and received every day, whether you like it or not. And based on your perception, you are either going to receive the creator in a positive way or you're going to receive the creator in a negative way. There's no if, and, buts, or maybes about it. That's the reality of things. You see, the beautiful thing about the internet these days is that it's helping people gain a much healthier, better perspective of their reality based on truth and understanding of the things that are really going on, opposed to things that we were told. And you see that more and more and over. One great example, right, that I remember that happened not too long ago was the whole thing here in Florida with our governor, Ron DeSantis. Now, let me tell you, I am not a political person, even though I do talk about the government politics here, but I talk about the government politics just like what they are, just mass deception. But there are things on the local scale that the governor here that I support, the governor has done here, Governor Ron DeSantis. I think he's done a lot of good things for the state of Florida as far as the experience that I had during CACA 19. I mean, it was a wonderful experience. Still is to present day. Still is present day. And because I've experienced those things in a very high positive vibration, I can honestly say that the man has done a good job based on my experiences. Other people may think otherwise. But this is give you an example of how perceptions get persuaded so easily, just like that, like a snap of the finger, right? We had a situation with the whole critical race theory. Governor Ron DeSantis' administration completely denied it. So we're not doing it. And immediately, black people in Florida, so-called black people in Florida, or the melanated people of Florida, and people around the country is like, oh, you see, he's a racist, blah, blah, blah. Immediately. Not understanding why. he made that decision in the first place. But then he had a press conference where he went into detail about how this critical race theory curriculum was really focused on gender fluidity and promoting perversion to children through the LGBTQIA community, through homosexuality, through transgenderism, through perversion on mass scale. And that most of the curriculum was going to be focused on that. And the curriculum on African American or whatever studies was going to be very limited in that curriculum. And I even talked about it on a show where it's going to be like if it was a pie on a scale, 15% of the slice of that pie would be on educating people on the true history of how slavery came about and how discrimination and racism came about and all that. The other 85% perversion. Broke it down publicly for everyone to see in a press conference. And people still believe that he was a racist. People still believe that he was trying to deny it to keep so-called black and brown people down. And this is the insanity that exists here within the United States and pretty much around the world, because we're seeing it all over the world, but especially here. And that's one of the biggest problems. You see, I'm hearing people all over, people say, oh, we need to get united. We need to stand together. But it's very hard to do that when people's perceptions are constantly being manipulated and they're not taking the responsibility to perceive the reality on their own. And I could tell you, as a man that is, I'm not getting caught up in any type of group thinking based on anything, especially something that was told for hundreds of years by somebody else and somebody got ingrained into that mentality and perception as a child or as an adult. Because the thing is, one of the reasons why our perceptions are so easily persuaded is because of emotional instability and also because we are egoically driven. Everybody wants to be important, wants to be looked at as important. And because of that, they have such a strong desire to serve the ego. It's easy to manipulate perception because everybody wants to think that they right and that they have the answers to life. When in actuality, nobody truly has the answer. You have to live the truth. You have to experience it. And you have to use a lot of discernment as to what fills up your spirit in a positive way opposed to a negative way. And also believing in things that you really don't understand. And I think that's a big problem with religion is a lot of people believe in things they don't understand because a lot of religion, the message that you're getting, you're not even getting it accurately. You know, a lot of the messages that we receive in different doctrines are all metaphorical. They're all allegorical, but people take them literal. People want to humanize spirituality, not realizing that spirituality is everything. It's not just the human experience. Spirituality involves everything. That's why you constantly hear me saying that the creator is not a man. The creator is not a woman. The creator is only something you can begin to understand. It is an energy field that you can only begin to understand. Why? Because you're a part of it. And I made reference to this a while back where I said, how can you give a name to your mother or father, right? Like imagine you're born, and when you're born, you don't give a name to your mother and father. You're told that that's their name, right? Like my mother was named by her father. She has a name. When I'm born, I can't name my mother. I can't name, they already have names. But we as people tend to do that. We tend to give the creation of, or the creator where we come from a name. Like we know our creator's name instead of just understanding the opportunity that we have, that we get to live here and make the most of it and make sense of our experience in that manner instead of trying to always dictate what is and what isn't when it comes to where we come from. Something that we can only begin to understand. And we have to use a lot of empathy when we're understanding that. We have to use a lot of empathy, people, when we're dealing with others. And a lot of times people don't want to do that. People just want to be like, I'm right, you're wrong, bye-bye. Or I'm right, you're wrong. How do we get you to be right? How do we get you to perceive things the way that I perceive things? And if I can't get you to perceive the things that I perceive to be true, like I perceive them to be, then if it doesn't work out, I can't deal with you no more. That's wicked. That's truly wicked. And that's something that we as a whole, as a humanity, need to stop doing. And with that being said, I'm going to play some music here, and then I'm going to conclude this broadcast on Persuaded Perceptions. I think I've said enough at this point. Let's play some music, and I will come back and conclude. 'Conclude. 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 '
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Make me a nightmare for people like you.
To the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place.
Abba help me through my suffering. Demons on attack, but I can't fold, I gotta gird up again. Pain up in my heart, and I just really need your perfectness. I'm gripping on your sword, it cut both ways, but that's my medicine. I can feel it in the air that we so close. I can feel it in the air, we need your hope. I can feel it in the air that this the hunt. I can feel it, I know you feel it. I can feel it creeping, lurking, searching for me, trying to break my soul. No, I won't let you hurt me no more. I've been seeking the Father up in my soul for real. I've been seeking the Father, He put my flesh in the dirt and put my soul in the field. Touched by divine and husbandman, protect me from my own will. Just a servant, I'm looking to help my brothers overcome their demons and keep pushing to the mark, I know He real. I've been fighting for my life, and the only man I trust is Christ, cause He saved my life so many times I know I should've died. I give Abba praise cause His mercies always be magnified. All the lust and evil in this world, you know it's finna die. And I know it's do or die. We gotta repent cause there's not much time now. Guard your soul because it's going down. Guard your soul because it could be now. Abba help me through my suffering. Demons on attack, but I can't fold, I gotta gird up again. Pain up in my heart, and I just really need your perfectness. I'm gripping on your sword, it cut both ways, but that's my medicine. I can feel it in the air that we so close. I can feel it in the air, we need your hope. I can feel it in the air that this the hunt. I can feel it, I know you feel it. It don't matter, no looking back, yeah, we on the path. Chasing the kingdom, narrow path is the only path. Messiah said repent, so I follow that. I wanna be safe when the king come, I put my head down. Most High help me through it all, I pray my prayers pierce through the clouds and land at your feet, cause you are glorious. I'm going through attacks, depression deep down, it hurt me inside. Keep my enemies at bay, I pray you bring all of the thunder and the lightning and the fire upon these demons that tempt me. My enemies trying to make me fall, I flee it. I know we being hunted, so the shield of faith my defense. Shield of faith, it quenches all the darts like Aquafina. I swim in living water, my environment to deepen. Hallelujah, Abba, wanna be close to you like Peter. Thank you for your mercy, I'll keep praying for our people. I know I'm not deserving, but I gotta warn them of their evil. Abba help me through my suffering. Demons on attack, but I can't fold, I gotta gird up again. Pain up in my heart, and I just really need your perfectness. I'm gripping on your sword, it cut both ways, but that's my medicine. I can feel it in the air that we so close. I can feel it in the air, we need your hope. I can feel it in the air that this the hunt. I can feel it, I know you feel it.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness.
How you doing?
Hold on, be calm. There's a lot for you and a lot for me. Hold on, be strong. It's close to be, oh yes indeed. This world is cold and it's cursed, ain't no fixing that. This world is sold for the gold, I ain't feeling that. I'd rather wait on Elohim or King of Kings who fills my life with better
check
things.
My brother, keep fighting daily. The world is mighty shady, it isn't just kinda crazy. Amazing, we still here because Abba has shed his mercy. Messiah shed his blood for us even though we ain't worthy. But the mercy, I gotta reiterate for the second time. Cause if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be alive. We all been brought at a price, we should be shouting for Christ. You're the way, you're the truth, and you're the life. What would I do without you? This world that makes me sick, but there you are to comfort me through it all. My medicine. Don't get worried or get discouraged, it's in the plan. The day will come when we won't be under curses of man. But for now it's daily practice, dashing for that penny. The enemy's looking fast to snatch it, that's a massive win. He's laughing, grinning, racking many. I pray you don't lose it. It's the season, bigger demons. I pray that you slashing many.
Don't be calm. There's a lot for you and a lot for me. Hold on, be strong. It's close to be, oh yes indeed. This world is cold and it's cursed, ain't no fixing that. This world is sold for the gold, I ain't feeling that. I'd rather wait on Elohim, on King of Kings, who fills my life with better
Father,
things.
teach me your ways so I can walk in your truth. Unite my heart to feel your name, been led astray since the youth. I never thought I'd see the day I make a change, so it's proof that your spirit alive and well. I love the fruit it produce, a living testimony. I lean on Messiah when my feet get tired. Where it's words in my heart, not on my attire. This real cold, bundle up or you might expire. Learned how to trust in Elohim when my vision cloudy. I know he got me, weight get heavy, he spot me. Give me strength and endurance, his word be my assurance. Don't stop walking, keep your head up, it might get tough to be strong, never give up, We at the end, it's wartime till the day is stopped. Draw your sword for the battle, can't have no souls lost. Look, we gon' keep the faith, he gon' go before us. I pray he order our steps so we can stay the course. Yeah.
Hold on, be calm. There's a lot for you and a lot for me. Hold on, be strong. It's close to be, oh yes indeed. This world is cold and it's cursed, ain't no fixing that. This world is sold for the gold, I ain't feeling that. I'd rather wait on Elohim, on King of Kings, who fills my life with better things.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Yes, I want to take this time out to give a shout out and a thank you for all the people that are tuning in to the Network of Awareness podcast radio show from all places around the world. And let's start with places around the world that are not within North America or the United States of America. Want to give a shout out to all the peoples out in Pakistan, Malawi, Malta, Italy, Ireland, Indonesia, Guyana, Fiji, Spain, Germany, the Ivory Coast, Botswana, the Netherlands, Brazil, Angola, Uganda, the Philippines, Mexico, Rwanda, Nigeria, Kenya. Shout out to all my peoples in Canada, India, and of course, we can't forget the United Kingdom. Thank you. Now, on to the United States. I want to give a shout out to Florida. Let's go, Florida. Georgia, Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Tennessee, New York, California, Alabama, Illinois, Ohio, Connecticut, Colorado, Kentucky, Missouri, North Carolina, New Jersey, Michigan, Massachusetts, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Arkansas, New Mexico, and Utah. Let's go. And everybody else I didn't get to mention. Thank you to all the people for downloading the show. Don't forget to download the show. More importantly, if you want to listen to live episodes like this, when they go live, Subscribe to Spreaker. You can download from Spreaker. You can download from the website. You can also download from any other streaming podcast platform like an Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and many, many more.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Here we are back again, about to drop some facts again. Yahweh's word spreads like a fish's net for capturing those with an ear to listen, those who paid attention, those who stand bold like a soldier with their convictions, not quick to fold or throw in the towel when under pressure. They walk it like they talk it, they live the message, but depression's what most folks are facing. They got the vaccination, we in zombie land, pretty soon we gon' have to dance. Better keep that sword on your body, fam, cause this far from pain, Babylon will burn down in flames. Some deaths are better off real slow, so you can witness the pain. You tortured slaves, 400 plus years of pain, hung brothers up in the trees, swinging for days and days. Now this is your end of days, you looking so disarrayed. Try to cover your ears, but the truth still gon' penetrate. The hatred is strong, but races still want to imitate and integrate. Only Yahweh's chosen holy nation can ever be this great.
Yahweh's amazing. Before I eat, I'm saying my graces. I pray for knowledge and wisdom and peace. We dwell in greatness. 144,000 frequencies and vibrations. So don't give me amped. Go take a hike and camp like concentrations. Pull up my pants and send my genes to elevate genetics. I'm concentrating, no recess to dominate recessives. No car insurance, the way I swerve, they be like impressive. Stephanie Courtney know my flow is looking more progressive. My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like ORRA, the informationalist. Shout out my brother, take one. All these chances in life, don't hesitate and wait to take one. We are the true Jews, about to take off. Hitler knows we don't play soft. I pull up and let like 8 off. Watch a demon head splatter, give me back my platter that y'all just ate off.
Yo, remember what we talked about being something special as 1/3? Well, I feel like we're finally here. A righteous Wall Street, bro. Yes, sir, let's get it.
All praise to the Most High. This is only the beginning.
Righteously preparing, raising our awareness. The social engineering, just faithful forbearing. Salute to those faith in it, kings and queens creating it. That's people awakening. 2/3 be forsaking him. 1/3 keeps on praising him. Putting all my faith in him. Most people be faking it, munching on some bacon bits. Ignorance remains in bliss. In this life I came to win. Righteousness I'm living in. Truth is the enlightenment. Yahweh's the embodiment of peace and redefinement. Elohim is in the science. Go grown out for lions. Raising the horizons. Frequency just heightens. Spirit always brightens. No fear can ever frighten. A man on the mission, living out his visions. Truth to the tradition, gaining all the wisdom. To be freed from the prison, transition with God's mercy. With the early worthy, realist, righteous visionaries.
Peace and love right now. Why, oh? I ain't playing about it, I need my money right now. I don't care about that shit, but the hundreds give me power to change the world. I'm coming for the man's throat. We killing Mother Earth, yo, it ain't a fucking joke. Turn your TV off, read the book, stupid. Get your mind right, if we unite, we could do this. I was born to ride for the cause, wildin' out in my drawers. Bad it, fuck the laws, they corrupt. I do my own dance, to my own drum, sing my own song. I ain't heard nothing real in so long. God soldier, yo, your time's over. Mobbing with my posse, overthrow ya. Power to the people, love conquers all, kill what's evil. It's like 1, 2, 3. I go by the name Jeffrey. Peace and love, that's how I rock. And you know that we won't stop. Why, yo? 1, 2, 3. I'm for hope and equality. I can't believe that they done shot Nipsey. Too much violence, it must stop. Why, yo?
No one's innocent, we all play a part. If we turn our heads, then we ain't pure of heart.
Text courage, baby, who's coming with me?
Who's down to step up?
Who's getting busy on the punk beats? Pick your fucking trash up. Ocean's dying, threw your damn cup out the window. Microplastics for the kiddos. More fire, more carbon. More liars in the government. Folks starving, folks tired. Who's riding? It's like 1, 2, 3. I go by the name Jeffrey. Peace and love, that's how I rock. And you know that we won't stop. Why, yo? 1, 2, 3. I'm for hope and equality. I can't believe that they done shot Nipsey. Too much violence, it must stop. Why, yo? We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that peace and love right now. Why, yo? We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that peace and love right now. Why, yo? Hey, yo, spread it. All that hatred we got to dead it. If we don't come together, then we gon' regret it. Headed towards freedom with no break, no exit. The man's time is over. You can say I said it. Spread it. All that bullshit got to stop it. Fighting against each other, yo, that's what he always wanted. Robbing for the guys, for my guys. Get it on till I die. I'm a freedom ride. Change is gonna come. We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that peace and love right now. Why, yo? We gon' spread that peace and love. We gon' spread that.
I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourishing till I perish.
Yahweh's gonna save the awakened, then take him to an ageless haven. Patient, I can't stray away, gotta keep obliterating the pavement. Still remember that day on the phone, Mark, he said, yo, don't you take your foot off the gas. Always something to give y'all praises.
We're in a dark oasis, countless cases, a peak of faithless. I'ma need the patience, defeat them chases. We seek his graces for true salvation. We keep on praising, we go on blazing these revelations. Teach the haters, no altercations. Good vibrations, we back to basics to build foundations. Now defeated Satan. I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourishing till I perish. People pursuing acts of violence. Third persistent act of defiance. Freely forming a righteous alliance. Truly against the science appliance. On a mission with wisdom and guidance. Steady defeating the ignorant science. Sealy convicted and non-compliant. Spiritual wars to move in
Let's
silence.
talk about what matters. Drop the vanity. Folks out here losing their sanity. Kids popping off, lost in fantasies. People grieving over loss of family. The evil that be with the power. Turning the people with credence to cowards. Seeking to seize believers with vows. Man, even Stevie can see that it's foul.
I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime they can drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourishing till I perish.
Depression gone with every song. Music led by another echelon.
To get you strong, keep pressing on. Long after we dead and gone.
From dusk till dawn, we're righteously armed with spiritual lessons from Yah.
We where we belong, we keeping on. The righteous with third is Zion.
Records embellished with heavily eloquence.
Elohim's presence presently evident.
Intricate elements, infinite intelligence.
Spiritual specimens lyrically resonant.
The gift was inheritance, smaller percentages.
Can't believe measured and meant to be shared.
With the message projected, cemented, embedded.
The sensible question is, what will you get from it? Made mistakes on purpose to divide the worth from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, so searching. Networking and murking. Anytime you can drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed that musical intermission with some independent artists that put all of their spirit into their music. Thank you for those that submit their music to be played here on the Network of Awareness. And thank you for those that got to listen to this live broadcast. Of course, it'll be archived and distributed throughout all podcasting platforms. I will be distributing this on YouTube as well for those that follow me on YouTube and on Facebook and Twitter. So with that being said, people, I hope that this episode has given you great substance in understanding how you perceive your reality and taking more responsibility in doing so. So I wish you all the best today. Peace, love, and light. Don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. And when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. Start a new beginning today and let the power of the Most High be with you at all times.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Network of Awareness. If you would like to join or find out more about our show, please subscribe and follow us at networkofawareness.com or your favorite podcast listening platforms. If you would like for us to discuss any specific topic you would like to listen to, leave us a message on our website, or you can directly email us at ORRA@networkofawareness.com. Now, tune in to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on social, spiritual, and self-awareness. With that being said, people, living in the present, being directed by what's given in the hour-long sessions, mind-blowing confessions of improvement that needs checking. Welcome in all ears. Tuning out. Peace and blessings.